Alright, so here is Premiere Practice 4. So in this assignment, you're going to create a video with 5 slides, and then we're going to create what we call a lower thirds title. So a lower thirds title is like what you see on the news when they're interviewing somebody. It'd pop up in the lower thirds of the screen, a little bar that says the person's name, and maybe has a little symbol of the news station or something like that on there. So we'll create that. We'll also mess around with some effects, and we'll turn one image black and white. As always, we want to go ahead and add transitions in there. We want the audio to fade in and out. We want black at the front end, and we want 3 image pans. Now, again, if you need help with image pans or how to create the black color matte or anything like that, you can go back and look at Premiere Practice 2 or Premiere Practice 3. I'm not going to go over those again. I'm just going to save some time. We're going to cut straight to the new stuff. So again, the two new things is one, turning an image black and white. And the second thing is adding an image to the lower thirds, or creating a lower thirds title with an image. Again, so I'm looking for all this stuff on the lower thirds title. So I want a lower thirds title with a background rectangle shape and with an image. And so we'll show you what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Premiere. I already went ahead and created a project. So I'm just going to go ahead and start off with a new sequence. Again, that's always the first thing you should do, is create a new sequence so that you're working in the quality that you want. And then I'll go ahead and create my color matte. What should we call this? Black matte. All right. And I'll go ahead and bring in some pictures here to work with. So, whatever they are. All right. And I'll choose import, get these pictures in here real quick. I'm just going to go ahead and put together a sample video so we can take a look at this. All right. And of course, I want to go ahead and get my pictures to fill the screen, so I'll go ahead and set them all to frame size. All right. So we'll go ahead and start with the black and white. So first off, let's see, I'm going to scale this up a little bit. All right. All right, so, perfect. All right. So to turn an image black and white, it's pretty simple actually. If we go into our effects here in our project window, so in our project window we'll go to effects, which is where we find our video transitions. But this time, instead of video transition, we're going to look for video effects. And then under image control is black and white. So there's a black and white filter or effect. All you got to do is take the black and white effect and drag it onto an image, and that'll turn the image black and white. All right, so I dragged it on this image here, it's black and white. I put this image in here twice, so I got one in color, one in black and white. And the reason for that is I just want to make sure that when you guys do your project, that you actually turned your image black and white. You didn't just download a black and white image. So if you can go ahead and put your image in your timeline twice, first in color, and then the second time drag over that black and white effect, again under video effects, image control, then black and white. That way I can see you actually learned how to use the effects. So again, effects just as easy as a transition. All you gotta do is click and drag it over. Again, our next assignment will probably go way more in depth into some effects, but for now we'll do that. And then let me I'll throw a transition here between the two. So when I'm watching the video, we can see, okay, there it is in color. Now we got it in black and white. Very nice. All right, so now the other thing that we want to do is we want to talk about creating a lower thirds title. So again, the lower thirds title is like a little title that we'd stick on the lower part of the screen that gives us tells us who's in the image, or it could be your Twitter handle, right? So if you were a YouTuber or something like that, and you're going to say follow me at and put in your Twitter handle or your other social media handle or something like that, you'd want to create a little title that you put up on the screen, right? Now you can get pretty fancy with these. You can animate them. So if you watch the video on the website, he goes through, so there's his little title here, but you could go ahead and build in animations. Oh. There we go.
lower third title and animate it.
So there's
all
our
within
lower
Premiere.
third title.
Don't have to go into Photoshop or After Effects.
Right, so he has his lower third title here. You know, and again, you can see he animated his. We're probably not going to go ahead and animate ours today just for the sake of time, but maybe that'll be something we'll do in the future. But again, so to go ahead and create our titles, we want to go ahead and get into the graphics layout. So again, we've created titles here a couple of times, so you know graphics layout's where we go for our titles. We have our templates, but we're not going to use a template. What we're doing is we're basically making our own template. So we're going to go edit, and we're going to create a new layer. And in this new layer button, there's a bunch of different layers that you can add. So there's a text layer you can add a rectangle layer, and then from files, how we add a picture. So we'll go ahead and we're going to end up adding all these things. So we'll start with a text. And I'll go ahead and switch to my text tool, type tool here, and so I can change the text to say what I want it to say. So maybe I want it to say the Mandalorian. Alright. And again, I can remove it around. I can get it the size that I want. I can change the text. Actually, I kind of like that text there. Didn't mean to change it, but anyhow, that's nice text. Alright, and then again, I want to put a shape behind it. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new layer. We'll put in a rectangle behind it. Now, when you first time using shapes, it's probably going to come up gray. Mine came up brown because that's the last color that I used. Again, pay attention to layers. So my shape's covering up my text. That's because my shape's on the top layer, my text is on the second layer, so I need to switch those around over here. Alright, now my text is up here on the top layer. Again, if I want to change the fill color of my shape here, I'd click on Fill down here. And that brings up a kind of this color swatch here. And we could go ahead and just pick a color from here if we wanted to and change it that way. But also, if you notice, there is, when I pull up this color swatch, there is a little eyedropper right here, or there's a little eyedropper over here. Either one you can go ahead and use, and it actually lets you grab a color from the image. So maybe I want to grab the color, kind of the green here off of Baby Yoda's head. All right. And maybe I like that. That's a nice color, right? You can also adjust the transparency. So if you noticed on the video I played, he had a little bit of a transparency behind his lower third title. So it's a little bit see-through. So again, you can do that here. You can adjust the transparency over here. Give it just a little bit of a see-throughness. And again, we can add lots of shapes. We could add a circle. We could add another rectangle maybe to kind of create some more kind of 3D effects here. So maybe I put this one here, put it down on the bottom, change the color of it to maybe a kind of a tan or a brown here. Ooh, or maybe the blue. Let's see how the blue looks. Yeah, the blue looks all right. All right, and let me see if I can move it around. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I'll move it around here. Go. Alright, so that kind of creates a cool effect. Lower the opacity a little bit on that too. There we go. Alright. And again, I picked the color for these straight out of the scene. So again, I used the eyedropper and I picked colors out of the scene. So I would like you guys to kind of experiment with that, try that out, and choose some colors out of the scene. You also notice my my text here has a drop shadow on it, so I added a little shadow. So that kind of just helps it stand out a little bit. I'm going to adjust the distance here a little bit and like it a little bit more like that. There we go. Alright, so the last thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and add some sort of picture in here. So the Mandalorian. So I went ahead and looked online and found kind of his tribe symbol here. So I got it here, and I downloaded it as a JPEG off of Google. Now I want to go ahead and use it here in Premiere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open it up in Photoshop. But I want to get rid of this white background so that I can use it. So I'm going to go ahead and use my magic wand tool and select the white and get rid of it and deselect. Now there's a couple different ways that you could actually bring this over to Premiere. There's actually, I think there's even some options here. At least there used to be. It'd take me some effort to find it, but there's an option that I think would even just send it over to Premiere. Somewhere in Bridge, but I don't know. The easiest thing to do, I think, is to just go ahead and go File and go Save As. But instead of saving it as a JPEG, because if you save it as a JPEG, you won't keep the transparent background. So what we want to do is we'll save it as a PNG file. So .png file. So .png file will keep the transparency there in the background. So I'll go ahead and save it as that. And then when I go back over to Premiere, I'm going to go ahead and add it in. I'm not going to import it into my project. What I'm going to do instead is over here in the layer window here for my text, I'm going to add it as a new layer. So I click New Layer, and I go to From File, and I go find that image here. Alright, sorry about that. So my computer crashed there for a second, so I had to reboot. Our Premiere crashed, rather. So I had to reboot Premiere. So anyhow, here we are back. Right, I have my text in here that I've created, and my backgrounds and my shapes, and I'm going to go ahead and we cut out the white on this Photoshop document and saved it as a PNG. So now I'm going to bring it into Premiere. So I go in here to edit my layers. I'm going to go ahead and click on New Layer and choose From File. Thankfully it didn't crash that time. And I'm going to go ahead and find that image. I think I called it Mandalorian.png. So I want the .png file, so I have that transparent background. I'll go ahead and hit Open. And that gives me the image, and now I can go ahead and move this around and add it onto my image here. So maybe right there like that. Alright, so it looks pretty good. And so now I have this nice title that I've created. Now, again, we could go in here and animate this if you wanted to take the time. So if you look over here in Effects Controls, each layer has all these different effects that you can apply to it. So we have motion effects that you can put on it. You can put in a mask if you know how to use the mask. You can adjust the size, the position, the rotation, the transparency. So here's the shape layer. Shape layer, you can adjust the shape, the appearance, the fill. All these things can be animated, so you can even change the color of the fill on an animation there. So you can toggle on the animation and actually have it change from one color to another color. Pretty cool. So all this stuff can be edited. So there's shape 1, there's shape 2. Let's see, there's the text that you can animate. And there's the little image there that can also be animated. Again, anything with a little stopwatch next to it could be animated. But anyhow, once you've got your kind of text the way that you like it, what's really cool is, say you want to use this on another project. So let's say I'm doing a bunch of videos about the Mandalorian, and maybe I want to use this image over and over again, or maybe I created a title for my YouTube channel and I want to use that over and over again. What I can do is I can go up here to Graphics in my menu, so the menu along the top, and go to Export as a Motion Graphics Template. And this will actually let me save this graphic into the templates folder that I could use over and over again. Alright, so I'll go ahead and call it that name there. And it takes it a second to go ahead and export it. And now when I go over to Browse and go searching through my templates here, which we used kind of on the last assignment, I have these new templates that I've created. So now if I look for Mandalorian. Here's the demo one that I just created for you, right? So this will always be here. So if I open up a new project, I can put this in a new project. I can put it into this project, different spots. Also, as I said, if you animate it, all the animations get saved too. So I did animate one here with Yoda. So let's say I want to use this one here. I could click and drag it over here, and it saves the animations, and those get carried over too. That looks pretty cool, huh? So anyhow, so that's titles. So again, for this project, you do need to have a shape for your title, you need to have text for your title, and you need to have some sort of image on your title. And I'd prefer that you actually take the time to download an image and cut it out in Photoshop so it has a transparent background so it looks really nice and clean. All right, and then also go ahead and turn one image black and white. Again, show me the color image and then put in your black and white image with the transition so that I know that you actually changed it to black and white. All right, and then you're going to go ahead and, of course, add music, which you should already know how to do. You're going to go ahead and animate your pictures so you have 3 image pans, and you want black at the beginning and the end. All right, so good luck.